Today we're going to be going through each AFL team's most recent pick one in the draft. However, there are two clubs who have never had a pick one, which are Adelaide and Port Adelaide. So for them, we're going to do their highest ever pick. So without any further ado, let's get into this video. So Riley Thilthorpe, who was picked 2 in the 2020 draft for the Adelaide Crows, made his debut in round 6, 2021, when Adelaide took on the Hawks at UTAS Stadium in Launceston. Now, he kicked 5 goals in this game, which is the most goals any Adelaide player has kicked on debut, so it's safe to say he got off to a very good start. Now, Thilthorpe was drafted from West Adelaide in the Sandful and the Goodwood Saints. So now, after the 2024 season, Riley Thilthorpe has now played 53 games for the Crows and kicked 59 goals. He did miss more than 4 months of football during 2024 due to a knee injury which he had to have surgery on, but then came back strong late in the season and now looks like an absolute menace and playing good footy as well. So Riley Thilthorpe has now also signed a contract extension with the Adelaide Crows to the end of the 2028 season, so he's not going anywhere anytime soon. Now for the Brisbane Lions, their most recent pick one in the draft was Cam Rayner in 2017. Now Cam Rayner was drafted from the Western Jets in the TAC Cup and from Hillside in the Essendon District Football League. Now Rayner made his debut in the first game of the very next season against Kilda at Etihad, now Marvel Stadium. In that game, he recorded 8 disposals and kicked his first goal. He also received a Rising Star nomination in round 15 of that season in their win away to Fremantle at Optus Stadium. Now, Rayner has also recently now become a premiership player as well for the Brisbane Lions, having played in the 2024 premiership. So since his debut in 2018, Cam Rayner has played 140 games for the Lions and kicked 135 goals. Carlton's most recent pick one was in the 2018 AFL draft when they picked up Sam Walsh from the Geelong Falcons in the TAC Cup and St Joseph's in the Geelong Football Netball League. Now, Walsh made his debut in round 1 of the 2019 season in a loss to Richmond at the MCG. He did finish with 24 disposals in what was a very promising first game for him. His Rising Star nomination came in round 4 in Carlton's 2-point loss to the Gold Coast at Carrara, and he ended up winning the Rising Star award in 2019. After another promising season in 2020 in which he finished second in Carlton's Best and Fairest, he then got his first All-Australian selection in 2021. In that season, he also won the Carlton Best and Fairest, the John Nichols Medal, and finished 4th in the Brownlow. Some of his other awards include winning the AFL-CA Best Young Player Award in 2020, as well as the Mark of the Year in that year as well. He also won the Gary Ayres Award in 2023 for the Best Player in the 2023 Final Series. In 2022, he signed a 4-year contract extension to stay with the Blues until the end of 2026 and has been a co-vice captain of Carlton since 2023. He's played 119 games overall. Now, Collingwood's most recent and only pick one was in 1999 when they picked up Josh Fraser from the Yarra Valley Mountain District Football League and from the Murray Bushrangers in the TAC Cup. Now, Josh Fraser played 21 games in his first season and won a Rising Star nomination in that year as well. This was ultimately the beginning of a career that spanned 11 seasons with Collingwood from 2000 to 2010. His last game for the Pies was in round 22, 2010 in a 3-point loss to Hawthorn at the MCG, which was also his 200th game in the AFL. He then played 2 seasons at the Gold Coast in 2011 and 2012, playing 18 games there overall, rounding out a 218-game career that lasted 13 seasons. As well as his Rising Star nomination in 2000, one of his other awards included being the best first-year player for Collingwood that year, and also being the Collingwood vice-captain in 2008. Essendon's most recent pick one in the draft was in 2016 when they picked up Andrew McGrath from the Sandringham Dragons in the TAC Cup and Brighton Grammar in the APS. Now, Andrew McGrath was born in Ontario in Canada and moved to Australia with his family when he was 5 years old. McGrath made his debut in the very first game of 2017 in a 25-point win over Hawthorn at the MCG. He received a Rising Star nomination in round 4 that season in a 65-point loss to Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval, in which he racked up 28 disposals. He then capped off his brilliant first season by winning the Rising Star Award in 2017. He then also won the AFL Players Association Award for the best first-year player in that season. He then won the Adam Ramanauskas Award for the most courageous player at Essendon in 2020, the year in which he moved fully into the midfield. McGrath was also appointed as Essendon's vice-captain at the beginning of the 2023 season, and this year signed a 6-year contract extension until the end of 2030. So he's another one that will probably not be going anywhere anytime soon. Now, after his 8 seasons in the AFL, he has played 157 games for the Bombers and will certainly increase that to a very lengthy amount by the end of his career. Fremantle's most recent pick 1 in the AFL draft was Clive Waterhouse in the 1995 AFL draft. Now, Clive Waterhouse is another one who also wasn't originally from Australia and was born in England. Waterhouse didn't start playing football as his main sport until he was 17, when he played mostly soccer up until that point. And although he was pick 1 in the 1995 draft, he was already 21 by that point. At the point at which he was drafted in 1995, he was playing for Port Adelaide in the SANFL before making the move west. He made his debut for the Dockers in round 3, 1996, in which was a brilliant day for the Dockers, snapping Carlton's 18-game winning streak that led on from the previous season in which they won the premiership. And they didn't just win lightly as well, they won by 53 points, so very good performance for the Dockers and a very good way to start your career. Now, he was quiet in this first game, only managing 2 kicks, although one of them was a goal, so not too bad. This was the beginning of what was quite an up and down career for Waterhouse, in which he ended up playing 106 games for the Dockers from 1996 to 2004, before then moving back to South Australia and to Port Adelaide in the SANFL in 2005, where he played until 2009. Geelong's most recent pick 1 was in the 1990 AFL draft, when they picked up Stephen Hooper from East Perth in the Waffle. Hooper made his debut in round 2 1991, which was Geelong's first game for the season, in a 26-point win over St Kilda. However, it didn't end up being a very long career for Hooper, as he only played 21 games and his career finished at the end of the 1993 season. Gold Coast's most recent pick 1 was in 2019, when they picked up Matt Rao from the Oakleigh Chargers. Rao made his debut for the Suns in round 1 of the 2020 season in a 47-point loss to Port Adelaide. Then, after a near 3-month break in the season due to COVID lockdowns, Rao returned in style, being rated best on ground in round 2 in an upset win over the West Coast Eagles, before then the following week producing another great performance and winning the NAB Rising Star nomination for that week. Then in round 4 against Fremantle, Matt Rao was rated the best on ground once again. But then in round 5, Rao suffered a season-ending shoulder injury against Geelong. Then in round 1 of the following season, Rao suffered another injury, this time to his left knee, coming early in the first quarter, and he was out until round 13 of that season. Rao did then play out the rest of the season from that point on, although did look a bit held back by his injury. Just to show how consistent he's been since, however, Rao has not missed a single game for the Suns since coming back from that injury in round 13, 2021. And Rao is really starting to come back again as the talent that he promised to be, polling 25 Brownlow votes this season and finishing equal 7th in the Brownlow. So really good signs ahead for Matt Rao. GWS's most recent pick 1 in the draft came in 2022, when they drafted Aaron Cadman from the Darley Football Club and the Greater Western Victoria Rebels. Cadman made his debut in round 5 of the 2023 season in a 2-point win over Hawthorn in Gather Round at Norwood Oval. He's now played a total of 35 games and kicked 36 goals, and is emerging to be a very promising young tall forward. Hawthorn's most recent pick 1 in the draft was in 2001, when they picked up Luke Hodge from the Geelong Falcons. Hodge made his debut in round 5 2002 alongside Sam Mitchell in a 42-point win against Richmond. It didn't take long for Hodge to become quite a leadership figure at the club and was an integral part of the Hawks' rise to success in 2008. Hodge won the Norm Smith medal in the 2008 Grand Final, in which Hawthorn overcame a heavily favoured Geelong side by 26 points. Hodge became the captain of the club in 2011, and then after already being a premiership player in 2008, then became a 3-time premiership captain with premierships in 2013, 2014 and 2015. Having already won the Norm Smith medal for his best on ground performance in the 2008 Grand Final, Hodge then seconded that with another Norm Smith medal in 2014. Throughout his career, Hodge also won many other awards, such as 2 club best and fairest, the Peter Crimmins Medal at Hawthorn in 2005 and 2010, and also made the All-Australian team in 2005, 2008 and 2010. In 2010, he was the captain of the All-Australian team. Then, after announcing his retirement in 2017 and playing his final game for Hawthorn in round 23 of that season, Hodge was then traded to the Brisbane Lions in the 2017 trade period and played 2 seasons there, before finally retiring at the end of the 2019 season, having played 346 games all up. Melbourne's most recent pick 1 was in 2009, when they picked up Tom Scully from the Dandenong Stingrays and from Haileybury College. Scully made his debut in round 1 of 2010 and then had a breakout game in round 4 of 2010 against Richmond, in which he recorded 26 disposals and got the NAB AFL Rising Star nomination for that week. Then after just 2 seasons with the Demons, Scully was then traded to GWS as the expansion side in their first season. Scully then played 7 seasons with the Giants from 2012 to 2018 and played a total of 121 games. Scully was then traded to Hawthorn at the end of the 2018 season for a future 4th round pick. Scully then played his first game for the Hawks in round 2 of 2019 and didn't miss a game for the rest of the season. After playing another season for the Hawks in 2020, Scully then announced his retirement in February 2021. Overall, Scully played a total of 187 games, which included 31 games for Melbourne, 121 for the Giants, and 35 for Hawthorn. North Melbourne's most recent pick 1 in the draft came in 2021 when they picked up Jason Horne-Francis from the South Adelaide Football Club and the Christie's Beach Football Club. Horne-Francis made his debut in round 1 2022 in a 20-point loss to Hawthorn. Horne-Francis then played 17 games that season for North, before then in October 2022, after playing just 1 season for the Kangas, requesting a trade back to South Australia and to Port Adelaide. Horne-Francis has now played 48 games for Port in his 2 seasons, kicked 43 goals and received a total of 35 Brownlow votes. He has also won the Gavin Wanganeen Medal for the best player under 21 at Port Adelaide in both 2023 and 2024. Port Adelaide are the second club that have never had a pick 1 in the draft, so for them we're going to be looking at their highest ever pick, which for them was not pick 1, not pick 2, not pick 3, but was pick 4 in the 2008 AFL draft when they picked up Hamish Hartlett from the West Adelaide Football Club and from the Edwardstown Football Club. After being picked 4 in the draft, Hartlett made his debut in round 4 of the 2009 season in a 30-point win over Hawthorn. So after suffering quite a few injuries in the early part of his career, Hartlett then stringed together a pretty good career in which he ultimately played 193 games for Port Adelaide in 13 seasons from 2009 to 2021. Some of his career highlights include winning the Gavin Wanganeen Medal in 2011 for the best player under 21 at Port Adelaide, as well as also winning a Showdown medal in round 2 2014 for the best player in the Showdown. Richmond will soon have another pick 1 in the draft this year in the 2024 AFL draft. However, as of now, their most recent pick 1 was Brett Deledio in the 2004 AFL draft from the Kyabram and the Murray Bushrangers football clubs. Deledio made his debut in round 1 of the 2005 season and got a NAB Rising Star nomination for his performance against Collingwood in round 8. He then ended up winning the Rising Star Award at the end of the 2005 season. After continuing to show a lot of promise in the following seasons, Deledio then won the Richmond Jack Dyer Award as the Richmond Best and Fairest in seasons 2008 and 2009. A shining light during what wasn't such a great time for Richmond. Deledio then continued to assert himself as a star of the Richmond Football Club and ended up winning 2 All-Australians in the years 2012 and 2015. After the 2016 season, in which Richmond finished 13th on the ladder, Deledio was traded to the GWS Giants. He struggled to overcome a calf injury during the 2017 season and played his first game for the Giants in round 20 of 2017. After 32 games with the Giants and 275 games overall, Brett Deledio retired at the end of the 2019 season. St Kilda's most recent pick 1 in the draft was in 2014 when they picked up Paddy McCartan from the Geelong Falcons and from Geelong Grammar. McCartan made his debut for the Saints in round 3 of the 2015 season in a loss to Collingwood. He came in for that game as a replacement to Nick Riewoldt, who was a late out due to a calf injury. McCartan ended up playing 6 games in season 2015 and then had his season very interrupted in 2016 due to 3 concussions. After playing 11 games for St Kilda in the 2016 season, McCartan then got another concussion playing for Sandringham in the VFL during the 2017 season and ended playing up just 5 senior AFL games that season. Ultimately, after 5 seasons, 8 concussions and 35 games with the Saints, Paddy McCartan was delisted by St Kilda at the end of the 2019 season. In 2019, McCartan joined Sydney's VFL team. In 2021, McCartan played for Sydney's VFL team and then was picked up by Sydney for their AFL team as a rookie at the beginning of the 2022 season. After his career revival with the Swans, McCartan ended up playing 28 games for Sydney, which made 63 games overall. His retirement came in round 4 of the 2023 season after suffering another concussion. Ultimately, his retirement was announced on the 31st of May that year. Sydney's most recent pick 1 in the draft was in 1993 when they picked up Darren Gaspar from the South Fremantle Football Club in the Waffle. He made his debut in round 3 of the 1994 season against Adelaide. However, he injured his medial ligament during this game and ended up playing just 5 games for the 1994 season. After 2 seasons with the Swans in 1994 and 1995, he then turned down a contract extension with the Swans and chose to then get picked up by Richmond in the pre-season draft of 1996. He then ended up playing 12 seasons for Richmond from 1996 to 2007 and played 207 games for the club. He also won the Richmond Best and Fairest in the year 2001 and got All-Australian selections in the year 2000 and 2001. West Coast's most recent pick 1 in the draft came in 2023 when they picked up Harley Reid from the Tongala Football Club and from the Bendigo Pioneers. Reid made his debut in round 1 of the 2024 season for West Coast in a 50-point loss to Port Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval. He then got a Rising Star nomination in West Coast's first win of the season in round 5, in a 39-point win over Richmond at Optus Stadium. Despite only playing 1 season so far, it's quite clear that Harley Reid is a very talented player and has had many moments throughout his first season which show that he is quite a generational talent. After seeming like he was definitely going to win the Rising Star Award early in the 2024 season, he then was handed a 2-match suspension against St Kilda in round 12, which obviously made him ineligible for the award. However, this didn't stop him from winning a couple other awards during the season, including the AFL Players Association Best First Year Player Award, as well as the Goal of the Year Award as well. The Western Bulldogs' most recent pick 1 in the draft was in 2020 when they picked up Jamara Ugle-Hagan from the Oakleigh Chargers and from the South Warrnambool Football Club. The reason he was picked up by the Bulldogs was because he was in their Next Generation Academy, and the Bulldogs had to match a bid by Adelaide to get him. Ugle-Hagan then made his debut in round 17 of the 2021 season in a 19-point loss to Sydney at Marvel Stadium. After gradually working his way into his career, Ugle-Hagan has now played 67 games after 4 seasons and kicked 103 goals. Ugle-Hagan was also the Bulldogs' leading goal kicker in 2024, kicking 43 goals, and it looks as though he's got a very promising career ahead of him. So that's it, everyone. Thank you all for watching, and yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you think of these sorts of videos. I read most of the comments, so yeah, feel free to put anything you want down below, as well as any other video suggestions that you might have. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.